Welcome in, everyone, to the Run.Down postgame show from the Strick.land. The Knicks are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I can't believe it. Schwinn can't believe it. Sam can't believe it. We're going to be here with you, probably for way too long because we're all amped as high as can be right now. So, Schwinn, the floor has to be yours. You've been with this team the longest. Sam we figured it out, about 450 days old the last time the Knicks were in the Eastern Conference Finals. He was a freaking baby. He doesn't know shit. I was not even 10 yet. I was still 9 in May of 2000. So I barely remember it. So Schwinn, this is your show, bud. Go for it.
Well, they got into the Eastern Conference Finals in a little bit more dramatic fashion last time. They won a game 7 on the road against Miami to get in. Also, the 26th anniversary to the day of Allen Houston's series winner against Miami. So the vibes were good, aside from the news we got about Diddy prior to the game, that he was going to be able to stream the Knicks game. But we were able to overcome those negative vibes.
Also, Eric Adams.
Yep.
Adams posting a video.
Also, we overcame Tibbs trying to injure every player in the fourth quarter.
I'm not going to lie. I never care about that. I was fine with it. I was like,
the only one
30 with 6 minutes left. I'm like, okay, then you can go. But until that,
we'll talk about this later. But I will say the only one that made me angry was OG. Like
that was weird.
Anyway,
that was
ahead.
great. The game was great. This is great. And I mean, look, it's not just that they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. Look, I know that, at the end of the day, they won the series and people are going to be like, well, Tatum was out. They're up 3-1 with Tatum in the series.
Yeah.
They're up 3-1 with Tatum in the series. They still don't play their best lineups all the time for whatever reason. It didn't matter. They had a great game plan for this series. Tibbs deserves a ton of credit. We've criticized them a bunch for a bunch of stuff. You got to give them a ton of credit for the defensive game plan they had in this series. And every single time the Knicks actually fucking executed it, they got the results. So, tip of the cap to him. I thought this was his best work in New York. I tweeted it. I said as much. This is the first series I think you could look at in his time in New York and say his defensive game plan was perfect. It was perfect. Every time they executed it, they got the win. They held them under 100 in regulation twice. They held them to 100 in regulation once. They dominated this game. Obviously, they cleaned up everything that gave them problems from Game 5. They cleaned all that up coming into tonight. And the biggest thing is all the pressure. The majority, we had a conversation about this yesterday in our Discord. I reject the idea that Boston had no pressure because if you're a defending champion and you have the pride that team has, where they've been to 6 of 8 Eastern Conference Finals coming into the season, like whatever the external kind of viewpoint is, internally there's always pressure there. They also know that this is the last time with this particular group that they're going to be on the floor together. They're going to have a lot of changes. So there was pressure on them.
Tatum's not going to play next year, probably, right? So
Tatum's probably not going to play. They're going to lose guys, whatever. But the majority, obviously the maximum amount of pressure was on the Knicks, right? You're up 3-1. Their best player in the series gets hurt at the end of Game 4. This is the path. This is their path to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. You fought your way into a position where you had 3 opportunities to close it out in a row. It sucks that they didn't cash out the first one, but who cares? They got to cash out at home at the Garden for the first time since whatever it was, 2000 or whatever the fuck the last time they won a series at the Garden. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. They deserve this. They deserve this. And then there's credit to go around from the coaching staff and the players. I thought the players today, all of them were right on it, right from the jump. After the first, I think they were tied at 16-16. Tibbs put in Deuce, I believe at that time, and Mitchell Robinson, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember exactly. No, it was just Deuce for Hart, I think. They went 5 out basically, and then they never looked back. They were up 6 or 8 or whatever that was at the end of the first quarter. And then it was game over. I mean, really the game was over by halftime, obviously, because we're fucking broken, mentally broken Knicks fans. We're all probably sitting there at halftime this is so close. I don't know what they're going to do. But yeah, no, they destroyed them. And, in terms of like, you talked about 99, 2000. I think what's crazy and I think what makes this feel so satisfying is this isn't like just 1 year randomly they're making a run. This is the culmination of 5 years of Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau being here, building this up block by block by block. They've made moves that are popular. They've made a lot of moves that are unpopular. They overpaid for Mikal Bridges. They shouldn't have done the cat trade, whatever the hell you want to say. They made all those moves to get to this point, to get to a point where, one, they were up 3-1 on Boston in a healthy head-to-head showdown, and two, then they get to cash out, go to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they have home court in the Eastern Conference Finals. But this feeling of like this isn't just a 1 year thing. And they've been building towards this. I thought they should have been in the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago. They lost that series to Miami. Last year, the entire team just gets injured and it sucks, and you just have to sit there and watch it. But now you have a chance. You have a chance to get to the finals. And I promise you, like, let's all be honest. If I told you a month ago, forget a fucking month ago, if I told you 2 weeks ago, the Knicks would be in the Eastern Conference Finals having defeated Boston in 6 games, I think if we took a poll of all Knicks fans, I think the percentage of Knicks fans that thought that was possible would have been like fucking under 10%. They were a minus 900 underdog coming into the series, depending on the book you looked at, minus 900 or minus 1,000, whatever. And yeah, I mean, they took 2 in Boston, which is pretty much, that's usually like a massive series over type swing. But even at that point, Boston was favored to get through. So, last thing I will say, and I'll close this out. I've never watched a series before where in every single game, only for one team was it a must-win game, apparently, according to everybody in every single game. Game 1 was a must-win for the Knicks. Game 2 was a must-win for the Knicks. Game 3 was a must-win for the Knicks. Game 4 was a must-win for the Knicks. Game 5 was a must-win for the Knicks. And then tonight was obviously a must-win for the Knicks. So shout out to them that they were able to lose 2 must-win games and still win the series. Pretty impressive stuff. And also for all the people that want to, you can question a lot of things about this team. You can criticize a lot of things about this team. One thing that I think everybody needs to fucking retire and never bring up again is their mental toughness.
Because, shout out Malik Beasley. I feel like ever since he said that, like the Knicks just like locked in and like tapped into another level.
But it wasn't just him. Knicks fans were questioning it.
Definitely.
National media were questioning it. Local media were questioning it. You had Stefan Bondi going back into like the offseason, I think, where he was like, this team isn't
first
tough.
Week of preseason.
Yeah, they're not tough. They're not gritty. They've been questioned, and I'm not acting like I didn't question them at points. Too. Like everybody questioned them. And for them to fight through, get through the series, they had to get through a fucking, like a fucking Hell in a Cell match series against the Pistons in round 1. To get through that, to beat Boston, the team that you were, assembled, built to beat. And then not just beat them, but do it by executing the necessary game plan. That was the only way you were going to win the series. Because if they played this series and they were like, we're going to play what we do, we're going to do drop, and like they don't win this series. Even with that, like they would not have won the series. They would not have been in a position to. So again, from Leon Rose, down to Brock Aller, to Tom Thibodeau, to the players, everybody, fucking, the analysts with the iPads on the bench. Shout out to Challenge God. But yeah, I mean, they all deserve a ton of credit. This isn't just, obviously, yeah, you beat the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I think this is kind of like, I think this organization under Leon Rose and the work they've done, like they deserve this. They have worked really hard, and this is kind of the payoff for stability, and not just stability for stability's sake, because we know that they've made big moves too, but stability at key places in the organization. And on the roster, and then also taking chances when chances need to be taken. They knew that last year's roster wasn't going to come back. They knew that, right? Because once Hartenstein left, there's no way that team was done. Like they had to rebuild it, reconstruct it, a new idea, a new identity, a new construction, however you want to put it, kind of like over the summer, right? And look, whatever we all think about individual choices they might have made, and did they overpay for that guy? Did they not overpay for this guy? Could they have done X instead of Y? They're here. They're here. You can't deny that progress has been made. And it's certainly not been pretty, and I think I'll for sure be the last person to tell you that this was or has been the most enjoyable year I've experienced as a Knicks fan. But I will also say this: I think part of the reason why it hasn't been enjoyable is because there has been this, there's a lot of expectations on this team. So it's not fun. It's not, like they're plucky and they're underdogs and they're punching above their weight. No, this is like what you were built to do. There is a different pressure on this team. I think that pressure at various points weighed on them, but they have come through this, and now they have a chance to play for a championship, or to get to get to a championship, to get to a final series. And honestly, I didn't think this team had a chance to get to the finals this year, realistically, but that's why you play the games. And that's why you stay in the fight, because things break a certain way. And look at this, right? Like, we're here. So, yeah.
It's crazy.
Thank you to Walt Clyde Fraser for the super chat. Here's $20 to say fuck Boston, and also for all the Knicks content. Appreciate the super chat. And yes, fuck Boston. Fuck the Celtics. Fuck Jalen Brown, by the way, who played one of the most pathetic games I think I've ever watched in my life. Literally was just not, like, he was just committing stupid fouls, and he gave up, basically. Like, he came out at halftime and was like, I'm not playing this game. Like, I'm fouling out, and I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going to sit on the bench. Anyway, he can enjoy sitting on the bench, sipping on some margaritas in Cancun.
For 6 months?
Yep. Enjoy it, pal.
Wow. I was like gathering all my thoughts as like Schwinn was going on. But like, as we've all noted, I've never seen any type of Knicks success. I was literally a speck of a child when the Knicks last went to the conference finals. But I mean, as someone that watched this year, and like, as I was going through grad school, I kind of like stopped watching Knicks games. I kind of stopped doing post game just to focus on grad school. And like, the Knicks were just like not playing up to expectations. Like, this is literally the last outcome that I expected from this team. Like, throughout the Jalen Brunson ankle sprain, and we're having like Mikal Bridges and Cat and such try to lead the offense, and it wasn't always the prettiest at times. And there was all this talk about, could they do this, could they do that, and like, you never thought that they would get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I mean, this is supposed to be year one of this new core that they built. Just this, like, literally a couple weeks before preseason, they built this team. And the expectation was, all right, we'll compete. We'll see what happens this year. And then here we are, 4 wins away from advancing to the finals. Like, just crazy to me. Just crazy. Like, my mind can't wrap itself around it right now.
Also, shout out to us. Shout out to the Knicks for giving us a nice weekend. We got 4 days to soak in the victory.
Oh my God.
Don't have to worry about a game 7, which they
man.
They apparently only do game 7 when the entire team is dead. Otherwise, they avoid game 7, so that's good. And you know what? Like I mentioned, everybody. One of the biggest things that I think that Leon Rose did this offseason that we don't talk about and doesn't get talked about enough, but our good pal Zach Blatter is obsessed with, is hiring Casey Smith. Hiring Casey Smith from the Dallas Mavericks, who is apparently, knock on wood, a guru of injury maintenance. This team is healthy. They are healthy. They had to roll the dice kind of the entire year with this center situation. There was concern that Mitch Robinson had a setback and he wasn't even going to come back this season. That was like being reported at various points. And they took their time. They gave him the time. It looks like whatever program they had him on was really good, because he looks as physically sharp as he's been in years, to be honest. I thought him and Deuce came into this game in the first quarter, and when they came in, they turned it. They turned the game. I mean, they took it. And, look, obviously the Knicks we've sent out a lot of our young talent that had been drafted and accumulated over time, but you still got guys like Deuce McBride and Mitchell Robinson that are in the rotation making a difference. And when you see the way they played today, and look, they're never going to get the accolades, right? Because you got Josh Hart, obviously great performance today, triple-double. Jalen Brunson is Jalen Brunson. Cat steps up in a big way. Mikal Bridges was awesome. OG eventually hit some shots. But, like, those two guys are – I mean, Tibbs told you what he thinks of them and the rest of the team today. He was just like, Yeah,
He said, campaign, you're glued to the bench.
Thank you, buddy. We're good.
I think we're
good.
rolling with a 7-man rotation for the rest of the playoffs at this point.
He did the Colin Coward, like, hey, you know what? We'll take it from here.
Yeah.
We'll
I can see him throwing campaign out there in one game in the Eastern Conference Finals just to make sure, but like I think
give me DeLon right minutes. Give me DeLon right minutes.
Give me the 7-man rotation. I'm a happy camper. But yeah, like I just wanted to shout out, so I think again, like all of this work and you know, some of it's very visible to us, right? Trades, personnel acquisition, coaching changes, whatever. Those things are really visible. But you talk about, you know, you look at the injury stuff. Look at how injured this team was at the end of last year. And a lot of that I don't think really had, and a lot of that was just bad luck, right, to some extent. But when you get career best health in some ways from OG and Anunoby, when you see the way Mitchell Robinson has come back now, and obviously at points in the regular season, you're like, man, is he going to be all the way there for the postseason or not? But he has. And even Deuce McBride, right? He had a number of lower bodies injuries this season. And we were like, man, is he going to like have it together? Because it didn't look like it at various points in that Pistons series. And then he finds form in the Celtics series right when the Knicks, they needed him in this series. They don't, and I don't mean to like kind of exaggerate how valuable he was in this series, because I'm not trying to suggest
like he literally was.
Yeah, like I'm not suggesting that he was like the MVP of the series, but I think this was a series where they needed him to step up, because what he gives them defensively, this was a great matchup for it. And I thought you saw that today. I thought he was fantastic today.
He had some of the best momentum.
His first half,
the best he's ever played.
His first half today was like legitimately a dominant performance. As dominant
Chase
as
down the buzzer beating three,
as dominant of an 8-point half performance as you're ever going to see. Like this, it really was. It was pretty fucking amazing. So shout out to him. Got a couple more super chats. I'm going to read this one.
Shout out to everyone for the super chats.
Thank you for the super chats. From Vivek Dadanya. Dog, we survived Derek Fisher and hit Fizdale. This is surreal. I'm speechless. Deuce is one of the best games he's ever had. Shout out Schwinn, Stacey Prez, Marty, Zach, Whack, Sam, San Antonio Reese, Editor-in-Chief Doug, Professor Dallas. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Not Whack.
Yeah.
What does he do?
Just sits around.
Yeah, nothing.
like Jabba the Hutt. And
speaking of Whack, give Brian Benjamin his props. Whack just popped in. Go
ahead. Brian Benjamin, thank you for the super chat. Damn, Tibbs is terrified of losing the lead. LOL, so was I. Yeah, so was I.
Dog, I was scared of someone getting hurt.
From one Zachary Delusio. This is Whack. He thinks that everyone doesn't know his last name. He did a podcast for multiple years in which Alex introduced him by his full name. So I don't really know why he thinks he's secret here. Anyway, yeah, that was pretty unbelievable. What is there to say? I mean, they like, this is how we expected them to play all year, is like my
yes, that is the thing that pissed me off.
And I don't even care. I'm not even talking about the amount of points they scored. It's the process, right? Like the process, especially on offense. Yeah. If they play, like if this is the way they play against the Pacers, that's like they're going to run them off the court. I mean, I don't care that there's no Jason Tatum. That Celtics team is still really good. And they finally put it all together tonight. And they just completely embarrassed them. And like, this Knicks team, we'll see what happens on Sunday with the Thunder and the Wolves. But this Knicks team, if the Thunder go down, is the best team left in the playoffs. If they play like this.
Without a doubt.
Without
a doubt.
They will.
Because even then, if Denver eliminates OKC, Aaron Gordon, who's been out of his mind, is already dealing with a hamstring issue now. So it's like,
and Cat dominates Jokic every time they play each other. So,
yeah.
By the way, I just want to say this: Jalen Brunson, conference finals before Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Second conference finals before Joel Embiid.
Second conference finals for Mitchell Robinson. Conference finals for Joel Embiid.
Really, everybody on the team. Conference finals before Joel
Embiid. Tyler Kolek.
Let's go.
Former teammate of Joel Embiid, campaign. I mean, he already won a finals, but he did it again before Joel Embiid.
Campaign was able to, ditch
ride
Philly,
the coattails of this team.
Ditch Philly and pull up for the conference.
No, we lost Sam.
R.I.P.
Yeah, well, he was just
I'll
too excited. Couldn't
get
live
to
any longer.
Some comments here.
Well, let's just, sorry, we got a super chat from CMP here. We've seen some stinky basketball in the building over the last most of the last 25 years. I was 4 in 2000. This means the world to me. Now go kick Hallie's sorry ass. Yeah,
I was also 4.
$4, Zach. Yeah, you were 4 in 2000, definitely. You totally were. Yeah. I barely remember 2000 at this point, to be honest. So, like this, this is pretty surreal. And I said this in the Discord, but the fact that it was this team, we all spent. You mentioned this earlier, Schwinn, but we all spent most of this year freaking hating this team. And they're the one that makes
because we all fell in love with last year's team
right
so much, and we wanted to run it back.
Yeah.
We wanted to
not
run
even
it
just
back.
last year's team, but like the starting from when Brunson got here. I mean, we even loved the pre-Brunson tip teams, but like those first 2 Brunson teams really
ingratiated themselves.
Right, we all really connected with them, and both of those teams just died in the second round for different reasons. One, because Tibbs coached like the worst series anyone's ever coached. And then second, because everybody actually just died. But so this team with like them all playing like dummies, like Hart played like a dummy half the series. Cat played like a dummy half the series. OG played like a dummy half the series. Brunson honestly had 1 or 2 games where he kind of played like a dummy this series, and they still did it,
I think something should be said for like I think you could see at various points of this season and in the playoffs, like they kind of, dude, all these guys are so online. Like Brunson and fucking Hart. Hart literally like lives on Twitter more than us probably somehow.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about more than Sam.
Yeah. but like they're all plugged in, right? They're not stupid.
Macau responded to me during the offseason about baseball betting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Look at that. So like these guys are locked in, right? Like they know what's going on. They hear the noise. I think that weighed on them at various points this year. I also think there was a level of boredom with them at various points this season. Like they basically were locked into the 3 seed for like 2.5, 3 months.
They didn't try for the last month of the season at least.
And I think you could see like Bridges is the best example. Like this guy clearly made a decision at some point in the season where he's like, I am not fighting through screens. If we're just going to play drop with Cat 95,000 times a game, I'm not fighting through screens. I'll save it for the playoffs. He has saved it for the playoffs. He's been fantastic. I thought he was really, really good today. I like that they're starting to run more offense through him. That's a nice thing that Tibbs has done kind of since the end of the Pistons series.
And what he finally did is made sure that Cat, I mean, I feel like he hasn't done this enough until today, made sure that Cat and Bridges were both on the floor when Brunson wasn't. And it's like, oh, look, the offense is fine without Brunson because you have the other 2 guys who can score on the floor still, So, like, he just I still feel like maybe they should change up the starting lineup, but what
I mean, it's like they probably
Josh Hart's wife posting a picture of a cup saying he was ready.
Yeah, he had to deal with the cock grabber today.
That's honestly like one of the craziest. That's honestly one of the craziest things that's ever happened. And like Brown didn't even get a freaking foul on that. He literally.
It was pretty funny because earlier in the game he tried to draw a foul. Like he was trying to complain that Brunson hit him intentionally. Yeah. And then he literally grabbed Josh Hart's junk.
It's like, and not even like accidental. He literally reached around and he yanked.
No, he cupped. Yeah. He gets the full cup. Cup.
Crazy. Anyway.
Nice. Good job. Good technique there by Jalen Brown.
Dog.
I can't say what I want
to say. Jordan Bob posted this. Hart has also become just the 3rd Nick ever to record a triple-double in the postseason. Frazier 4 times, McGuire once. Josh Hart recorded a triple-double tonight versus Boston, which makes him the first Nick to record a triple-double in the postseason since Walt Clyde Frazier in 1971-72.
And Walt was there looking excellent tonight.
And you know what? Good for Josh Hart because he's obviously been kind of like this lightning rod when we talk about the starting lineup. I think it's a little bit unfair to him. I've been trying to kind of make that clear that I don't think it's really singularly his fault or something. It's just that group has not been great together. They were great. Once we got up, they were great. They were not particularly great to start the game. They were fine, but they were not great. They were great once we got up, and they did a great job. I'll say this, in the 3rd quarter, they came out, and the biggest thing you're worried about, you're up 27, you're like, right, don't come out and just fucking like give them 3 wide open threes because you're kind of like, whatever, we don't need to do it. They didn't. They came out with a purpose and they fucking drove a stake through their hearts. That game was over. I mean, the Celtics were waving the white flag basically
third quarter.
Halfway through the third quarter. There was like actually a couple fouls. I think the foul that the Browns' 5th foul was that Jalen Brunson drive.
Yeah.
When I watched it, I was like, I don't know, man. If I'm Missoula and I'm like really trying to just win this game to the best of my abilities, I probably challenge that one because I'm like, I don't think that was a foul, to be honest. He kind of like grazed Brunson and didn't actually hit him on top of his head, but I at least challenge it because 4 fouls is obviously much better than 5. I thought that was a pretty clear sign that they were done. They were done. And
honestly, pretty embarrassing crap from Missoula tonight. Like, it's the last game of the season. Just give up halfway through the third quarter. I know you're down by 40, but like, dude, you gotta like try. This is crazy. No,
yeah, it was. He did not.
There's
try
no game after this for them. Their season's over. Anyway.
Also, I gotta say, shout out to the 8th Nick in the rotation today, Kristaps Porzingis.
That's
right. Great work.
Did you see his post-game comments?
No, what did he say?
He said the support from the Knicks fans was through the roof tonight and all throughout the playoffs. Unbelievable fans, unbelievable city, and there's a side of me that's very, very happy for them. Sleeper agent, let's go.
Honestly, we would not be here without. I'm like, seriously, we wouldn't be here without Kristaps. We wouldn't, because like his brother demanding that trade is what led to Marcus Morris, is what led to Jalen Brunson. You know, I cut a bunch of shit out in the middle, but like that's why we have Brunson.
Yeah. It's pretty great. And honestly, again, like, this was the team that I thought the Knicks matched up with the worst. They did definitely ride their luck at points this series, but you need to get lucky sometimes to beat a team that, you know, at least when they're fully healthy, when Tatum's healthy, I think, you know, you play that series, especially the way we started some of these games, like, you would give them obviously very favorable odds, but you need that to pull off upsets. Like, I don't remember anybody saying like, oh man, fucking Indiana's getting so lucky that the Pacers are missing all these wide open threes and fucking half their team died for game 2 and whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's whatever. Like, you win the games that are in front of you and you move on. And, you know, the Knicks didn't get that benefit of the doubt last year when their entire team went to shit. All we had to hear basically during that entire
Tibbs did it.
That Tibbs killed these guys. Tibbs ran them in the ground. And if you looked at it with like any objectivity of what actually occurred last year, it was very obvious that it was not a Tibbs thing. But, you know, to the victors go the spoils. And
NYPD requested they're requesting additional units right now for 34th Street and 7th Ave. Level 4 mobilization.
The other thing is about what you're saying, Schwinn, is you make your own luck, right? The Celtics came out of halftime in both games 1 and 2 and kind of were like, whatever, the series is fucking over. Of course we were going to kill them. We always do. And the Knicks took advantage of their laziness and beat them in both games. And like, that's, you know, and the Celtics kind of played them even from there. But like, the Knicks had that 2-game advantage because they, like, you make your own luck, right? The Celtics gave them the opportunity to come back and take those games because they got lazy, and the Knicks did it. Like, that credit goes to them. And that's why they're here, because they didn't give up on themselves the way the Celtics did tonight. We got another super chat from Owen from downtown. Thanks for the $1.99. Sad that Archie. Yeah, I mean, it's too bad for Archie. You know, he's probably I don't know what team he's on right now. He's in.
Why isn't he just put him on the coaching staff?
Yeah, I kind of am surprised they didn't do that. Honestly, he must still want to play. I hope he's enjoying Shenzhen or wherever he is.
All right, let's get to some more comments here. Sorry, let's see. John Larry, hope Robinson is healthy with his back. Do you think we start next year with the 8 or 7-man rotation? Don't want to gas these guys against the Pacers. Fast pace. I would say I think they will go. I think they'll stick with 7. I just feel like when Tibbs pulls the plug on somebody, it's usually not like
for good, especially in the playoffs.
I think he will not play Payne in game 1, but he will play Payne in game 2 just to see. Like, he's going to want to come out there in game 1 and like try to, you know, blitz him.
I think it depends on how like game 1 goes.
Right.
Like evaluate it and like see like, all right, do we need an extra body? Because like the Pacers, don't they play like about like 8 or 9, like 9 guys in the.
They have to because they spend the whole game running up the floor. But I'm not actually worried about the Knicks
They were
getting
still playing
past.
10, 11 deep in the Cavs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, that's
Yeah.
also
Also
because
wild.
Atkinson was being he was like, oh, let me get Dean Wade out here for
Right.
Yeah, they were both going 10 deep. It's why are you going 10 deep in a playoff series?
You allegedly have 3 All-Stars and a really good center. Why the fuck are you not?
Yeah, allegedly.
Why are you still giving Ty Jerome these minutes when you guys are a minus in his minutes? Jesus. But
the Knicks actually have to take advantage of that, right? Because the Pacers obviously are going to be throwing 3 or 4 guys out there who shouldn't be on the floor with them.
Yes.
And you got to win those minutes by
Thomas Bryant. Hello.
Yeah, he's been getting a lot of minutes, way too many minutes. One thing I will say about this series a couple things, and I don't want to spend too much on this because we should be celebrating tonight. We should not be doing a series preview. We'll do that over the weekend.
Yes.
But the Knicks really, really struggled last year, and the Pacers had success and basically wore Brunson down over the course of that series, just pressuring him, hounding him constantly every time he brought the ball up the floor. The Celtics tried to do that today. They had Mikal Bridges bring it up the floor a few times, Josh Hart. So that was a good adjustment. Hopefully they continue that against Indiana. And then the other thing is the hardest thing to do when you're playing the Pacers is to not play their pace because it's so easy because you're look at all these shots we're getting. And it's yeah, they're good shots, but that's what they want. They want you to play that way. Can't play that way. And avoid liable turnovers. Going back to Mitch, I think Mitch is healthy. I would assume he's healthy. I think he seems
fine.
And they have 4 days off between, basically 5 days off between end of this game today and start of game 1 on Wednesday. So they'll have time, and he should be fine. He'll be good to go. And I got to say, Mitch Robinson today, that possession he had in the second quarter, where he fucking closed out to Jalen Brown, kept on his feet. Basically stripped the ball loose. That was fantastic. That was
the craziest thing I've ever seen.
He was. You
can see Brown actively shit his pants when Robinson's running out to contest initially, and then he proceeds to finish shitting his pants when Robinson's just out there boxing him against the sideline. That was insane. I don't even know Mitch. This is the best Mitch has ever been, which is crazy. But I think it is partly owing to the fact that he missed half the season, right? Because he is not always in the best condition, and so I think he gets worn down a little bit over the season. And he's only played 30 games, so I think that he's kind of peaking at the right time. We got another super chat. Super chats are coming fast and furious tonight, which we're very appreciative of.
What a name, Paul Point du Jour.
Yeah, $10. Thanks very much, Mish.
Yep.
And Deuce. Sorry, I really appreciate it. It was too good to pass up. Showed up tonight, 4 guys with 20 plus, and Hart with the triple double on top of that.
That's just an all-time box score.
This was if that Cavs game 3 was the closeout game. That's what that was like. When we just fucking destroyed them.
It kind of was.
Yeah, it was. The
Cavs gave up after that.
Yeah, they definitely was up after that.
This was a romp. But yeah, Mitch and Deuce were great. I thought they were great, and honestly, they were great the whole series. Whatever you want to say about the depth, and obviously we know that 8,
depth
9,
don't mean
10.
shit.
Well, we know the 8, 9, 10 guys are not the best, and we had to fight through it in the regular season. And sure, there are times where you're like, man, it'd be nice to go deeper here with the bench throughout the season. Obviously, that didn't happen, but you're here, and at the end of the day, look at Boston, man. Just look at them in this series. Guys that played real minutes for them in the regular season, like Hauser, like Porzingis, right? A lot of they weren't very good, and so even today they basically played 6 guys. It was basically their starting lineup: Pritchard and 5 minutes of Porzingis. That was their fucking
Hauser played not very many minutes.
They played Hauser for a couple minutes in the first half,
and he
was
sucked.
Terrible. Yeah, he was so bad. And he was just
we're in garbage time though.
Yeah, he's okay. I guess the Knicks are locked in today. Sorry, good. But I mean, at most championship teams ultimately go 7 deep when it comes to crunch time, and there are teams that have gone 6 deep, right? We've seen that before. The Nuggets basically have been playing 6.5 guys, and they're just searching for they're searching for that 7th guy every game. They're is it Peyton Watson today? I guess it's Julian Strother today, like whatever it is. But like that's what it is. And they have 7 guys. Like they have 7 guys. These are all obviously you have 2 superstars in Brunson and Cat. You have 2 elite 2-way wings. You have Josh Hart, who does Josh Hart.
What is he? Yeah.
Whatever Josh Hart is.
Whatever he is. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever he is. I don't know how to describe him, but he is a basketball player who plays well for the Knicks. And then you have Deuce, you have Mitch. Like that's what you need. You have that. You have the option to play 5 out. You can play double big. You can play with 2 guards in the backcourt with Brunson and McBride. So you have all these different options within those 7 players that are part of the rotation. I think that's really all you need. And, the lineup stuff we'll figure that out in the conference finals. That gives me pause, but that's a worry for Wednesday. But for right now, for right now, like I'm not gonna sit here and worry about that shit because
let me finally copy.
I'm not paid. I'm not paid to worry about that. That's Tom Thibodeau's job and Leon Rose's job.
Actually, I talked to Alex earlier, Schwinn, and he does pay you to worry about that.
Yeah, well, Alex can suck my balls.
Oh my god.
I hope 0 people listen to Locked On Knicks tonight.
I hope he's not recording tonight, man.
No, he's definitely recording tonight.
Dimitri says, Schwinn, shout out to your dad, the Boston fan. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he turned the game off at halftime today. Chris Bernhard said, I watched Eddie Curry and Mike Sweetney. I watched Alexei Shved and Lou Amundsen. I survived David Fizdale and Kurt Rambis. We all deserve this. 8 more of them things. Surviving David Fizdale should be the name of like the documentary whenever the Knicks do win a title.
Hey, could be this year.
No, but then everyone would get mad because actually Fizdale's a great coach and the Knicks just let him down.
the gutted rudderless.
That's why he's currently coaching, an NBA team.
It's also very fun that the Knicks beat the Celtics this year while fucking Bill Simmons produced the documentary that nobody outside the city of Boston watched. The Celtic City. And I'm like,
who was that for? Literally just Bill Simmons, right? I mean,
also, like, it's not Celtic City. Like, have you been to Boston?
No,
all they care about is the fucking Red Sox.
Right. And like kind of the Patriots, but not anymore because they're not good. So
right,
like,
they don't care about the Patriots until they're good.
They don't care about the Celtics. It's just like Bill Simmons cares about the Celtics.
The Celtics are definitely not number.
We're losing Schwinn.
Number 1.
There we go. Schwinn, are you there?
Schwinn, you might have to reboot your.
Oh wait, no, I think he's.
Talk. No, we don't have him. I'm gonna.
Yeah, he's gone.
I'm gonna kick him off stage in case he doesn't realize.
Okay.
Maybe he'll figure it out. All right. He was yelling about something. I don't know what it was.
He's talking about how like Boston like.
The
Celtic City.
Yeah. No, it's Red Sox City. But Bill Simmons stopped caring about the Red Sox in 2004. So like.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Can't blame him.
The thing is, like, so I've said this before about the Giants, right? Like, you win 1 championship, it's like, oh, I need another one of those. Once you win 2, it's kind of like, I don't care if they do this ever again. Yeah. Like, I watch the Giants, but I don't particularly care if they ever win a Super Bowl again. I've seen 2 of them, But the Knicks, unless you're 50, you've actually not even 50. Unless you're close to 60, you haven't seen them win a championship. So this is big. All right, let's break down some performances tonight while Frozen Schwinn just hangs out on the side of the screen over there. So interesting, Brunson. I thought it was a really interesting Brunson game, right? Because he was kind of like he could see that McHale and Cat were cooking, and he let them do it. But whenever things got a little squishy, he was like, "Oh fuck, okay, I gotta go score." And there was one, I want to say, like midway through the third, right, where Boston was kind of starting to like cut into the lead a little bit, and Brunson just went and nailed a 3, as if to be like, "No, this is not happening. Like we're not doing this," And so I thought it was really like a very captainly game of him to let the guys who were hot get their shots off, but when he could see things getting a little snagged in on offense, being like, all right, let me go score, calm the guys down a little bit. Let's keep it moving, So
I mean,
really,
he ended up having the most efficient game of all the starters. He had 23 points on 14 shots, 8 of 14 from the field, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Yeah, he played a great floor game. He just let the game come to him. He didn't force it.
yeah.
I thought, I think the easy thing for him to do, because Brown got out to that hot start, right? He had 13 points. He had like 11.
We're losing you again, Schwinn.
Something on 1 point. It would have been to
Nah, dude.
start.
You're totally slow-mo. All right. I think he's got to reboot his computer or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jalen. So I think the point he was trying to make is about Jalen Brown. Like Brunson, I don't know if this is what you're trying to say.
Basically.
Yeah, but Brunson could have tried to go shot for shot with Brown because Brown was like, I'm gonna have to like win this game for them again. Which he was right because Derek White freaking stunk tonight.
Derek White, Drew Holiday, like basically anybody besides
didn't score
Jalen
until
Brown
was the end of the third quarter.
Holiday, he scored at the end of the second quarter.
Oh, end of the first half. Right. You're right.
Yeah. But that was it.
Like everyone else was awful.
They were all scared.
And Brunson could have been like, I'm gonna go shot for shot with Brown to show him like who the boss is here, and he didn't do it. I especially loved how, first of all, they were like, one thing I will say about these guys is they know when Cat hasn't been aggressive, they like know how to force him to start getting aggressive by just giving him the ball constantly. They were looking for Cat every time down the floor for a while there, just trying to get him moving so that he would get aggressive, and it works because when he gets aggressive now, like he didn't make a ton of threes still, but like they had to respect his 3-point shot tonight in a way that they hadn't been all series. And I also just loved in general that Cat was actually taking threes tonight. Like finally he was like, "Fuck you, Tibbs! I'm taking threes. I don't care." Because he's talked about how, well, the offense, I'm supposed to be inside. I got to play inside. I'm going to do what I'm told. But like Tibbs is just not right about that, And so like he lets them freelance so much on offense. I'm totally fine with Cat saying screw you and just like launching threes whenever he gets them. I
think they did. They did stuff to actually get Cat threes too. Like they actually were running sets to get him open. Yeah. He was, and also like one thing that he has a really annoying habit of is like when the ball gets into the paint, if somebody else gets it into the paint, he'll start like cheating in from the 3-point line to maybe start crashing the paint. He stayed spaced a few times, got open threes out of that. I think he only made 1 3. But it was just good to see him like have that understanding and discipline to stay out there when Josh was in the paint. He'd draw 2 to the ball. I mean, the Knicks fried them so bad at one point they like went to that 2-3 zone, and the Knicks completely sliced that up. They got every good shot they wanted out of that. So they were locked in today, man. They again, just their preparation. Whatever the fuck happened in Game 5, I'm not quite sure.
Well, here's what I honestly think happened in Game 5. This was like, I kind of thought this was the case, but I didn't want to say it in case I was like wrong. I think Game 5 was as much about, I mean, look, it's on the Knicks. They came out and did not, like, they didn't have their shit together. But it's one of those like things where the Celtics lose Jason Tatum, right? And they're like, no, we got to prove that we can beat these guys without him. And so they were all just really amped up. And like they just, they started seeing shots go in. The Knicks were kind of out of sorts, and so they just got confidence and kept rolling with it. And it didn't surprise me, honestly, that the Knicks like ran them off the floor tonight because they're obviously better than that version of the Celtics. So it just was. I think Game 5 was one of the Game 5 was one of those things that like it's kind of fluky because the Celtics were all amped up coming off a big injury, and the Knicks were like the series is over.
Well, I also think one thing, and I talked about this on the pod that we dropped this morning, and then Richard Jefferson, actually, who surprisingly was like,
he was great tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Yes. Very odd. But he brought it up in the broadcast too, where it's like you're so locked into a game plan, and you're like, okay, Tatum, he was obviously the central focus of the Knicks game plan, right? And all of a sudden you're playing a team where it's like, oh shit, now it's not Tatum. It's going to be Derek White and this guy and Drew Holiday, whatever. And it's just a different thing. So it's like, you're so locked in for 4 games doing one specific thing, focus on X matchup and whatever. And you saw that confusion, right? Where like guys were like at the start, right at the start of the game, they didn't know who to pick up and whatnot. You didn't see any of that today.
Right.
You didn't see any of that today. So like all the ghost screen stuff that the Celtics killed them with in Game 5, they ran a bunch of that today and it got them nothing. They got nothing out of it. They were excellent tonight. That's as good of a playoff performance as, I mean, that's probably the Knicks' best playoff performance since winning the conference finals in 99 Game 6.
Yeah, I mean, they have not had this good of a playoff performance since. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, considering like the stakes and everything, this was fantastic. And
because like, look, they lose tonight, right? That Game 7 is a fucking like nightmare because you've now let the Celtics without Tatum come back. They're at home. They're gonna have all the confidence. Like the Knicks are gonna be hearing it endlessly for the next 3 days, and it like just thank God they needed to win tonight and they did it.
Ooh, yo, my mental health is gonna be on the brink if they lost.
As John Leary points out, thanks for the super chat. So Celtics fans are not taking it super well. Going to Pacers Reddit, trying to team up with the Pacers to take down the Knicks, posting pictures of Tatum and Howard together. It's just sad, honestly.
Finally copped a Brunson jersey.
Wow, look at that.
No, you can't. I'm not going to get up, but that's, I have it on.
It's a Brunson jersey. You can trust
it is a Brunson jersey.
I finally copped one. It took me forever, but I finally did it.
Also, it's so great. I just want to say this. Jalen Brunson has taken us further in the playoffs than Carmelo Anthony did. Just want to get that off my chest.
Your mellow hate is so, he's a beautiful man who did what he could. Yep. And, did he beg James Dolan to trade the whole team for him? Yes, but think about this. So anyway,
but yeah, no, it's very cool that like they've beaten now the Pacers, or sorry, not the Pacers. They've beaten the Sixers, they've beaten the Celtics, they've beaten Cleveland. Unfortunately, have not beaten Miami, have not beaten the Pacers, but we have a chance to beat the Pacers. So we're checking off all the names off the list. Crossing
with Miami, it's kind of like they're so embarrassing right now that the Knicks don't even need to beat them.
Right, the Miami just killed themselves.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, Jimmy Butler did it for you. That was like a Jimmy Butler sends his regards type deal.
Yeah, Pat Riley's every quote from him this offseason has been amazing. Just like, I don't care if you can't fit into our culture, get the fuck out of here.
Well, wait, what of them?
Nobody's there, dude. Nobody wants to.
Hold on. Listen to this Jalen Brown quote. Losing to the Knicks feels like death, but I was taught that there's life after death. So we'll get ready for whatever's next. Whatever's next in the journey, I'll be ready for.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah, Cancun's next, buddy. You'll be fine. Have fun.
Enjoy the margaritas and the tacos, man.
I'm sure he'll be watching the
whatever else
series closely, zooming in every time Josh Hart is on screen, right in his crotch, just to see what's going on there. One more. Yeah, I want to go back to what you said about what Richard Jefferson was saying, because again, amazingly, he was actually good tonight for maybe the first time in his career. He specifically was talking about, like how the Knicks are like prepared for the Celtics to have their spots, right? Like okay, Tatum's going to shoot from these spots on the floor, and then these other guys, like they're all playing around Tatum. Tatum's the son there, so like they all have their spots. But now like Jalen Brown is the heliocentric. They're playing around Jalen Brown, right? So like the spots all move, and like it's kind of reasonable thinking about it that way, that they had a game where they were all like completely confused about how to do it, because how many games, like you can't study a ton of tape. Like, yeah, you can study games where Tatum's like not playing, or like portions of the game where Tatum's on the bench, but it's just not the same. So it was just really, they took a game to adjust, and they did us a favor. They won at home finally. We've been begging them to do this for like literally 4 years now, to win a playoff series at home, and they finally did it. It's insane how every time they would like blow it at home when they had to win a series, and they'd have to go win it on the road. So like they did it again last round, Finally they did it this time. So it's kind of hard to it's kind of hard to complain.
That Pistons won and the Sixers won last.
The Sixers won. Oh god, the Sixers won. That was so frustrating. I think freaking Joel Embiid get another send him home as fast as you can. What are you doing?
This one is from my namesake. Actually, hopefully, he recovers from a stage 4 monkeypox. Age 22 says, "I can now watch that Game 7 on Sunday in peace."
Oh man,
my weekend would have been ruined if they lost tonight.
Oh, man.
Especially because they wouldn't have fucking played until Monday.
Right?
So I had to fucking sit there through this entire weekend pretending I was enjoying life on Saturday or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy. Dinner's great. Yeah, everything's good. Yeah.
Oh man.
Like I did today, I basically just was like fucking on eggshells the entire day.
Literally.
I couldn't function the entire day.
I just tried not to think about it as much as I could, honestly.
How did that go? Ashmaster says, "I was born in 2002 and I get to see the Knicks play in a conference finals for the first time. Just glad my dedication through the Emmanuel Mudiay at Lonzo Trier days is paying off."
Oof.
Yeah, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I always am amazed by like people like Sam's age and younger that are diehard Knicks fans. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell you were fans of for like your formative years growing up. You were like dialed
why did you choose this team?
I'll
Galloway.
I'll tell you my story of like how I got into the Knicks. So like growing up, I was actually more into football. Huge Giants fan.
I thought you meant soccer.
Enjoyed the Giants Super Bowls. But once I got to middle school, like I met some friends. They all like basketball. We talked to basketball all the time.
Sam was like 6'2", so they were like,
I was also tall too. So they were also like,
what were you like 2.5?
Huh?
You were like 2.5 in 2008 at the first Giants championship?
No, I was not 2.5.
He was like 10.
Baby Sam learned to walk when Tyree did the helmet catch.
But like I had always like known about the Knicks and like watched them like here and there whenever I could. Of course, I didn't have cable back then, so like the Knicks were never on like national TV. So like it was hard to catch their games. I finally got cable once I got into like around like 2010, 11. That's when I started like really catching on to the Knicks, and then from there on, I was like locked in.
This guy, you know what I just learned?
That 2012-13 team, that like fluke 2012-13 team,
did
so much brain damage to your generation.
It really
did.
This
is awesome. This is great. We're gonna do this every year, right? Right?
I became a huge J.R. Smith stan because of that.
Yeah.
You know what I just heard?
It's like that Star Wars meme where it's like, we're gonna do this every year, right? Right?
Yeah, with Anakin and Padme. Yeah. You know what I heard, by the way, Shwin, at the end of that story? That he started paying attention for real in 2010, 2011, which means he's a fucking front runner because he thought LeBron was coming.
Yep.
No, not even.
He became a huge fan when they traded for Melo.
Yeah. He was like, Melo's my guy. I got to follow him from Denver to New York.
Dog. That's crazy.
HB Greg says, I spent 3/4 of the game just staring at the game, shocked for beat Boston or going to the ECF. I wouldn't have had nearly as much fun watching the Knicks without Strickland. Thank you for dealing with chat all year.
It's not easy.
Yeah. It's fine. It was a fucking weird year, man. I think it was like the weirdest, like it was like a joyless 51 win season somehow. Like there are obviously great wins sprinkled in, but it was just what happened is this is what happened, right? They get smoked by Boston first game of the season. They don't play a contender or perceived contenders anyway. They lose to Cleveland after that. That was really early in the season, so whatever. They didn't play anybody or one of the perceived contenders until they played OKC at the start of January, where the hell it was, or end of December. They lose that game in the fourth quarter. They play them again a week later. They get smoked. They play Boston a couple weeks after that, twice in a week. Get smoked in both those games. They play Cleveland
right after that.
Yeah, they play Cleveland during that week. They get smoked by Cleveland, and it was just like you were kind of like, well, yeah, they're good, but they don't seem capable of beating these really good teams. But again, like you got to give the team itself a lot of credit because the entire year, as like we were all like, what the hell is this team doing? Why are they terrible? What's the point of this? We're just going to lose in the second round. There's nothing else beyond that. They internally, at least from what they said, in post-game quotes and stuff, was that they kept believing in themselves and they believed in their ability to do it. And who knows how true that was, but you have to play the games and if you don't we could have sat there and been like, man, it doesn't even matter if they beat the Pistons or not because they're going to get smoked by Boston. But if they didn't beat Detroit, we'd be sitting here maybe being like, damn, could have been us. Like, damn, it could have been us. But they took
watching the freaking Pistons go to the ECF right now.
It was hard enough when I had to stomach the fucking Hawks going to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2021.
That Pistons team did not deserve. Honestly, even the Celtics, even without Tatum, would have beaten that. No offense to the Pistons, they wouldn't have won that series.
This is pretty funny. I didn't see this.
This was really funny. You said this in the
Jalen Brunson. We haven't been here. This is from Jalen Brunson. We haven't been here since my dad played or was on the team. He's not gonna like that.
And so Jalen Brunson says that to Lisa Salters right after the game ends, right? And Rick Brunson's standing 3 feet away. You can see him on screen when Brunson says that. I cracked up.
Anash Mapuraga says, David, in quotes, will get you right. Moutier Fizdale deserves to be wanted in 67 different countries for the crimes he committed as head coach. He was terrible, man. Oh my God. Easily.
Honestly,
him and Larry Brown.
Dog, David Fizdale, I'm surprised it didn't kill my joy for basketball. I'm so shocked.
Sam was falling asleep, then he heard the name David Fizdale and woke right back up.
Dog, that's like a sleeper. That's like a sleeper agent code word to wake me up, bro. I hated David Fizdale. And the thing I hated the most is all the coaches caping for him after. It's are you kidding me right now? Do you not see how pathetic this guy is? This guy wrote on the clipboard together. Are you kidding me?
Embarrassing.
Are you kidding me?
At least Kurt Rambis liked those porn tweets, so we have something to laugh about. David Fizdale didn't even do anything funny.
Dog, everything was so that story Alfred Payton was telling about him showing them Martin Luther King Jr. speeches during practice, bro. It's what are you doing? This ain't gonna help you win. I love MLK, but this ain't the time or the place for that.
I'm just thinking now about all the coaches of that general era, and Rambis again did that. First of all, Woody obviously was amazing, but Rambis did the hilarious porn tweets, right? Derek Fisher had sex with one of his players' girlfriends, and then Fizdale was just so irritating. At least be funny, do something, I don't know,
so bad.
Murder somebody at least, make us laugh.
This is from Ace Bouchard. The best part of this game was every Knick eating against Al Horford. Everyone saw the food
every time.
He was the primary defender. He used up all of his last PEDs in Game 5.
Yeah, it's time for him to retire. He looked horrible.
He's retiring. They're gonna trade Porzingis and Drew Holiday probably this offseason, and or Derek White.
Porzingis. Who's gonna take him?
Yeah, you really won't get anything back about him. He is so bad. And he has insert whatever virus illness you want to say.
I don't even. Yeah, I kind of like
the Horford thing. I've despised him his entire career. So for me, this is a big day, and I want to give myself a pat on the back for staying with the game plan, staying with the hate, and I've been rewarded for it. Thank you to the Knicks. For making it happen. Yeah, he looked old and terrible today.
Just want to thank Chris Bernhardt for pointing out the hilarious stuff that Jeff Hornacek did as well. Also a very funny coach. Plus his daughter became a right-wing news anchor or some shit.
Least surprising thing ever.
She's on Fox, right?
Yeah. But she's on Fox Nation. Did they wait, remember when they did that after the Jordan documentary? They did that Hornacek documentary about guarding Jordan. It's dude, you stunk against Jordan. They were so Jeff, what was it like to be a lockdown defender against Jordan? He's I don't know. You got to ask someone else. I was actually pretty bad.
Just ask Gary Payton then.
Yeah,
give Jordan.
I'm just I get you're only doing this because my daughter works for you. This is.
Dude, that Jalen Brown quote is fucking bananas.
Dog. Did he take a shroom before he said that?
John Leary. Windhorst also looks really sad on ESPN.
Yes.
What's his deal?
Yes.
Honestly.
Bro, I don't know if it's like a Cleveland thing and like his association with Cleveland and then like what we've done to Cleveland in the playoffs before and like his like disdain for that. Like I legitimately do not know what the Knicks did to him. I don't know. Maybe someone on the Knicks told him, you know what? Let me keep my comments to myself. I'll say this.
Yes, I was going to say, Sam.
Honestly, my guess,
I don't.
my guess is that he has no access within the organization, and he just got thrown off. That's my guess.
You're probably right. That's usually why people
keep it that way.
Like Woj hated the Knicks when he didn't have any access, and then suddenly he loved them when he did.
Yeah.
Jordan Bubb says Knicks have to play the best team of the bottom 4 seeds in the East in round 1, and then the best team in the East in round 2, and they're still standing.
Damn
it's
right.
True.
That's what happens when you don't run and duck, and you don't try to lose games. You don't try to, choose your opponent in that way of like, a lot of these teams, they like to duck certain opponents, certain brackets, certain parts of the bracket. Knicks didn't do that. They stayed true, stayed honest, played whoever was in front of them.
Yeah, they were trying to. Those teams in the middle were trying to do that again this year. Like
they always do that.
Yeah, they were all trying to avoid the Celtics and face the Bucks. And like, I mean, it did.
Now look what happens.
It worked out for the fucking Pacers again. But whatever. Honestly, like I really don't want to talk that much about the Pacers series, but I will say I don't think the Pacers, I think the Knicks are more ready for this than the Pacers are right now. The Pacers have not had to try in either of their 2 series because they rolled through round 1, and then the Cavs just straight up died again in round 2. So died metaphorically and actually. So they haven't had a real test yet, and I'm curious to see. The Knicks have pretty much only been tested so far. I'm curious to see. The Knicks could definitely come out and just lay an egg because they're prone to do that. But I'm hoping that they woke the fuck up after Game 5.
Yeah, I think the revenge factor is probably good. That they want to get revenge on this team. This is also I will. We just gave Brunson a lot of credit for not taking the game personally and kind of letting the game come to him. I don't
think he's going to take the Pacers series personally.
No, I mean, I think he's definitely going to take him seriously. I think it's important, and I don't think he'll approach it this way. But let's not approach this as the tiebreaker of who's the best point guard in the East or the best point guard in the league. Let's just win the series.
I mean, there isn't a tiebreaker because Brunson's obviously better than Halliburton.
Right. No, I believe this, but also. The thing is, if the Knicks don't win the series, we know what the conversation.
They're going to say,
So it's important, but that what matters is winning the series, right? You win the series, everybody's going to fucking, fillet you anyway. So
they'll build a statue right then and there.
Kofi Amonkwa Jr. says, "Kid Miro, right? Jalen Brown does sound like a Chat GPT."
Right there, he did. Yeah. He was like, "Chat GPT, what makes me sound philosophical after a loss?"
Joe Mazzulla, Tibbs deserves this so much.
I don't want to hear that from you.
Yeah, the murderous meerkat.
Oh yeah, the other thing we clearly gave up today. They didn't even do the hack a Mitch, right? They did it once.
No, they did it once,
and then that was
they did it once. He missed the first free throw pretty horribly. Yeah. He made the second. They were like, "Oh well, 50% is too high for us."
Also, the Knicks just sent the blitz offensively and defensively.
Tibbs finally fucking sent Mitch out there to start a quarter, so they couldn't do it, which was pretty nice, And and by the time they were in position to do it, the game was kind of already getting out of reach, so they just didn't because Mazzulla gave up like a loser.
Man, this win and then the Liberty, they get their rings tomorrow. Whew, basketball heaven in New York City this weekend, bro. This is crazy.
Also worth mentioning, Mitchell Robinson has literally been with us from the fucking
depths of hell.
Yeah, the depths of hell to this. And honestly,
he deserves this so much.
And if you told me he would have been the guy of all the players we drafted, he was the guy to survive.
I know.
And he was the one to stay here and make it through. I would not have believed that. I mean, the fact that he's here even longer than like Randall, surprising, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. And, honestly, like, obviously as a fan, you want to win championships and all that shit. But like, I think part of what makes winning championships so cool is when you have guys on your team that are contributing that have like been with you all the way through. So hopefully the Knicks can get it done. Because it would be great to like, see that happen with guys like Mitch Robinson.
Yeah, Mitch has been around forever. It's like really cool to experience this with him, quote unquote, and also great voting record.
Great politics. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like he definitely does not have any very concerning flags on his pickup truck.
Oh boy, Paul Pierce, get a fucking grip, man.
It's good. Congrats to Paul Pierce. Calls out the Knicks. Pacers gonna pop y'all. Pacers gonna get y'all. Y'all beat an injured Celtics team.
Who did the Pacers just beat?
Also, congratulations.
Seriously.
What? Hang the banner for the Celtics. Not for the Pacers potentially beating the Knicks. Good
Hang
job.
the banner for beating us 4-0 in the regular season when it didn't fucking
that's really
matter.
important. Yeah. Remember when Paul Pierce had to get wheeled off the court because he was pooping himself?
Yeah.
So that's what I'd say to that.
HB Greg, Chris Duhon was actually good. Slacker hero. Shane Larkin was a problem.
I believed in Shane Larkin so heavy, bro, because I watched him in college and I was like, that's legit right there.
He had a good, like, one of his first games the Knicks was really good. He was like, when we played Cleveland, he played well in that game and we beat them.
He made me believe it right then and there.
I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty sure about this, and I'm happy that we can't actually find this out for sure since SB Nation destroyed the comment section. But I'm pretty confident after that game where they beat Cleveland, like it was like the second or third game of the season, I was like, oh yeah, we won the Tyson Chandler trade. Chandler, we won this.
Oh man, who was one of my favorites? Torrey Murray.
Oh yeah, just a great name. First of all,
Ronaldo Bachman, Survivor.
Wait, so Ronaldo Bachman is the reason I got a Twitter account. Because
what?
Yeah, because when he got traded for Melo, right? He tweeted, "Don't want to leave," and I thought it was so funny. I was like, I gotta follow this guy.
That's crazy.
And so I like opened a Twitter account to follow Ronaldo Bachman as he right after he got traded away from the Knicks.
Zachary Kaliman says, I watched Nate Robinson cross a guy out of his shoes live in the garden. I've been locked in ever since.
I remember Nate.
Yeah, Nate Rob.
You remember when he like shot in his own basket and Mike D'Antoni had a fucking like he like benched him for like 3 games.
Yeah, but then he came back after the bench.
He dropped 40.
Yeah, that was on Christmas or on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. I remember that because I was following on my phone, my very old phone, because I went to go watch a 3.5 hour Hindi movie with my parents.
This is a really good one from H. Richard. Phil traded away second so the team could have the roster spot to sign Travis.
Dog. That era was so dark.
Dude,
so
this
dark.
is fucking crazy. Some Windhorse. Boston battled the
Where's
ultimate
that?
battle.
Where's that?
Tatum will always be a dark.
I was about to like go to Connecticut.
Where is that? Yo, he better never see me outside. Yo, I swear. He better never come to New York City, bro.
Let's move off Windhorse before Sam gets in trouble.
We got a super chat from Larry Israel. Thank you, Larry. ESPN 11 picks for Celtics over Knicks, 11 picks of Cleveland over Pacers, an amazing over 22. These guys paid to make fools of themselves. Windhorse has a ton of explaining to do. I'm sure he'll do that very soon on this Hoop Collective where he'll spend.
Here's what I'll say: like none of us freaking picked the Knicks over the Celtics. Like I can't even complain about them picking the Celtics.
I can't complain about it, but it's fun to shit on them.
No, yeah, it's great. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to pretend that I didn't also pick the Celtics. Yeah, Tyrese stinks.
JK says best part of this game is that Tyrese can't enjoy it because Deuce was elected.
He probably is actually mad.
Yeah, Tyrese is in fucking hell right now.
Dog, you guys were mentioning about like, oh, we didn't pick the Knicks to beat the Celtics in this series. The craziest thing to me has been the last couple days, like everyone being like, The Celtics aren't out of this. Like they can actually like come back and like win this. The Celtics are actually like still
Don't
a
let them
really
get one.
good team
They're actually out
without Tatum.
Yeah,
Don't let us get one.
I was listening to the Athletic daily show on their podcast on their feed, and I was listening on my way back from work today, and like their whole panel was like, yeah, I see this going to game 7. I think the Celtics are going to come out on fire tonight against the Knicks in game 6. And I was just like, oh, man, I can't believe I'm still hearing this bullshit still, man.
One thing you got to say, the Celtics did come out. They did come out. You can't deny that.
They definitely like were there at the game tonight.
I don't know if they knew they had to play. But
they were there in spirit.
Jalen Brown did have dinner plans, and he was like, "I gotta foul out so I can go to, I don't know, where would he go?
Nobu.
Yeah, great. Whatever.
He had to go to. He probably went to Dorsia.
Oh yeah,
Dorsia. He had reservations in Dorsia.
Wait, the first time. I don't want to get too distracted. Read this comment, and then I'll go back to what I was going to say.
Jeffrey Glynn with the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Jeff. Fitting that first game of the season we get blown out, we end their season with a blowout. Go Knicks. Yes, it is fitting.
That is like full circle right there.
Yeah. The first time I ever saw American Psycho, I was like, where is Dorsia? It's not real.
Yeah, is this real? Is this place
no, it's not real. I looked it up, though. I was like, is this real? Is this like a real restaurant that they are obsessed with? No, it's not real. But Jalen Brown probably thinks it is.
Yeah. Omar Yusuf says, what's really fucking good? Plenty. Everything's good. Everything's good. Jake Andrews, 37-year Knicks fan. This is the best feeling about the Knicks I've had. I don't feel great because I'm a pessimist, but I feel a hell of a lot better than in 94 and 99.
Hey,
I felt good in 94. I mean, I was a kid, but I felt good. They were a good team. They probably should have won that series. 99, their team was dead by the end of the Eastern Conference Finals. You're just happy to be there. You're like, don't get swept.
Schwinn, what are your thoughts on them cutting to the OJ chase in the middle of that finals game?
Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. I actually remember that.
What were you, 7?
I was 7, yes.
So were you 7-year-old Schwinn was probably like, I want to watch
this. No, actually, I was 6.
Okay. You must have been. I would have been pissed if I were 6 and that happened. Like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, I was. I was like, what is this stupid thing they're showing, Dad?
Yeah.
He's like, shut up. The Celtics aren't even good right now. Shut up. You don't understand. We haven't won a championship in 8 years. This is the worst day it's the worst years of my life. Salutation, fellow sports entertainment guys.
Salutation, in the building. I love that.
Knicks stand up. We go into the ECF. First time since 1999.
2000. Ugh.
First time we clinched at home.
Yeah.
There you go. ECF, though.
Ace Bouchard. Can we laugh at the Cavs now?
I've been laughing at the Cavs for a bit now.
Yeah, well, like, what if they lost this year? They'd still laugh at the Cavs. Who cares?
Yeah, you have to laugh at someone else to avoid caring if people are laughing at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Has nothing to do with how good your thing is.
The first rule of hating is to always hate on others.
Yeah. Also, the Cavs lost that series because they didn't want to play the Knicks because they're scared of. Like, Jared Allen does not want to see Mitchell Robinson in a playoff series again. I'm telling you.
Hell no.
Jared Allen didn't want to see Thomas Bryant in the playoffs. So.
Right. Actually,
yeah.
The lights were too bright again. Actually, every time we lose in the playoffs, lights are too bright. It's kind of weird. Can they just turn them down a little bit? I can't see super well.
Ricky Ricardo, no, I think the Pacers are going to be tough. Let's be real. Indy versus New York are always going to be wars. This won't be any exception. Yeah, no, this series is not going to be easy.
Gotta love the graphic though.
The WrestleMania graphic.
That's like pretty chef's kiss right there. I'm not going to hold you.
Honestly, I will say, like, it's been pretty clear to me ESPN is like not unhappy about this matchup.
Oh hell no!
They seem quite happy with it.
Celtics Knicks is way more marketable.
Well, for sure, but so is Pacers Knicks because Celtics.
That's what I meant to say. Pacers Knicks is so much more marketable. The history between them.
Celtics Pacers
you have Hallie versus
Brunson. Yeah.
You have Hallie versus Brunson right there, and then it also is great that Hallie and Brunson also did like wrestling, like they did that wrestling appearance over the summer last year. So it was like this is like perfect tie-in promo right there. Oh man, this is wild.
Brandon Williams, the Landry Shamet curse has been broken.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. That was pretty scary, honestly.
Did he make a three today? He didn't make a shot, right?
No, he didn't. Kolek gave him some pretty slick passes to try to get him the ball so he could make
And
the
he
three.
missed all of them?
Yeah.
I think
Kolek made a three.
Kolek made a three. Yeah.
Maxwell Kaufman. Kolek draining a three tonight. Not on my bingo card.
That was the net. Kolek's three is what put the Knicks over the top on point differential in the series.
Wow.
So now nobody can be like, oh, the Knicks won, but they lost on point differential. No, they didn't. +2.
From Jalen Brunson. Thank you, Jordan, for posting this. Jalen Brunson was asked if he feels like this was an upset to advance over the Celtics. Upset or not, whatever it is, we beat a great team. They obviously lost a huge piece, but regardless, the way they came out in Game 5, they're still a great team.
Jalen Windhorse over here, giving the Celtics props.
Look at the odds that it was. Like, these are the...
Nobody can read that.
Sorry.
Yeah, Sam. We're fucking 90 years old. Still can't see it.
No,
Just
it's
read
worse.
it. Just
It's
fucking
worse.
read it.
It tells what it is.
No.
Sam, this is worse. It's just please tell us.
Sam is literally Hitler right now.
What is happening?
All right, here.
Yes,
Ugh.
minus 1,000 to plus
660.
Well, I wish I'd taken that one.
Yeah.
That would have been...
What a nice little payoff.
What's the next Pacers line?
I mean, the Knicks
Knicks are favored.
They gotta be favored, right?
Yeah, they are. It's like not even worth even taking.
I paid money to watch the Knicks lose to Maccabi Tel Aviv.
It's horrible.
Oh my god.
Maxwell Kaufman says feels good talking about the many shitty players who won. Too many to count.
Dog, I was looking through my pictures today, and I found a picture of the Mario Hezonja pointing at LeBron on the floor. That picture.
Mario Hezonja. Has anyone ever had more unearned confidence than Mario Hezonja? Maybe Campaign, honestly.
Hell yeah. Campaign
comes out. I know they're winning by 30, but he comes out and he's just like, yeah, it's campaign time in this blowout. Let's go.
He took that step back corner three, and I wish I could have seen Tibbs' reaction to that.
I know. They should have cut to him. He was probably so mad.
He was mad when Deuce fouled out.
Yeah, right. Deuce fouled out. He was mad. They were up by 35, and Tibbs was like stamping his feet.
Yeah. He's like, Jesus Christ.
Deuce definitely played that extra 2 minutes as punishment for doing that.
I know Tibbs gonna be watching during this Pacers series. It's like game 1, you're just gonna hear him at some point when the Pacers are on defense, just being like, Obi!
Dog.
He's having a Nam flashback.
Yeah, he's definitely
bad defense.
He only has Nam flashbacks. John Leary. This is a Tibbs quote. Tibbs on Hart. People get stuck on you didn't shoot the ball, you didn't do this, but Josh, what he is a basketball player. It's transition, it's the pace, it's playing out of the pocket. Yeah, look, when they especially saw in the second half or second quarter, I should say, into the third quarter, and then garbage times, whatever. But they used Hart well today. They used the fact that the Celtics weren't defending him in that second quarter and in that third quarter very well against them. I also will say I think Josh just plays better with Mitchell Robinson. It's almost like they compound each other's strengths on the glass,
which is weird because on offense you think it wouldn't work.
I think it just works because it gives you two elite offensive rebounders.
Right. Yeah, that the offensive rebounding is they're going back to last year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like their throwback unit.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're taking it back. 2023-24 Knicks.
Here we go. But there's no eye shark to be found.
Jalen, you got to beat us 4 times, Brown.
Oh man, I'm having so much fun dunking on him on the timeline right now, man. Oh man. Bro, he was talking so much during this series that after every game, it's like, oh yeah, we're everyone knows we're the best at getting in the paint, that bullshit ass comment he made, and then he said the other shit after game 5. I forgot what he said. I just fucking quoted it, but man, he was just talking and talking and talking.
He said some bullshit after game 3. It was like, I don't think anybody can get in the paint like that.
Yes, that one. Yes.
What are you talking about?
Dog.
You're not even the best player in your team at getting into the paint.
He was he's so corny. Oh my god, I can't stand. I'm so glad we eliminated him. I hate corny people.
Yeah, but now we have to deal with the stupid Pacers. So
the Pacers are the corniest of them all. So
we we have a chance to like have to beat the corniest teams. Like we had to play the
Yeah.
Pacers, and then if we beat the Pacers, then we might have to play OKC. In the
Oh
final.
God, that's gonna be.
It's
Jalen
literally
Williams-
the Knicks having to take out every single corny NBA team to set them straight.
I just am really not looking forward to after game one when Brunson gets one call, Rick Carlo being the Knicks get every call. How could you like ever put Brunson on the free throw line? And then they're gonna like Brunson will never shoot a foul shot the rest of the series.
2 free throws today, by the way. It's great.
Yeah, well, foul beta.
Actually, it was 4.
Master of the dark arts.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
where did
like-
Brian Windhorst get the gall?
So mad about Brian Windhorst again.
I cannot express fully what I want to on here. I'll save it for my timeline. So if you really want to know how I feel about Brian Windhorst, follow me. But where did he get the gall to even come up with Master of the Dark Arts for Jalen Brunson? You know what he needs to be a master of?
I have an idea.
Yeah. Muted himself. I'm dying.
Yes, correct. Larry Israel says, I was at that game and people were going out to corridor to watch. I'm like, we're in the fucking finals. I think he's talking about the OJ Simpson thing.
Oh, I was like, what is he saying? I don't know what he's talking about. He's talking about the OJ Simpson thing, you're right.
Yeah, that's actually hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
Be
It
like,
doesn't surprise me at
why
all.
would you leave the game to go watch
Yeah,
the fucking
that
card
seems like-
game?
You can watch that on TV later. You know, they probably replay it on the
It
news.
literally was on the news for
Yeah.
like the next 70
It was
like
all anyone
thousand.
talked about, I'm sure.
Yeah. There was literally like a 3-month period where that was all that was discussed every hour of every single day on the news. It was a terrible time. Anash Mabranga says this win was for Mindaugas Kuzminskis
Mindy, let's go, Mindy.
and his girl, his wife. Retro says, can we talk about Brunson's floor game? Yeah, we can. I thought it was
we
fantastic.
did it.
We
You should
did.
have
He
turned it
was
in the beginning.
He was amazing. I don't know. I mean, not amazing is probably too much, but it was like, they didn't need him to be amazing. And
No,
he
I
didn't-
thought like
yeah, he didn't try to be.
I thought this was an amazing game because he just took a back seat and did it when he needed to, you know? Like we talked about it, but like he could have been like, I'm going shot for shot with Jalen Brown. He didn't do it because he didn't need to.
Well, I think the big thing too is like, he had a quote after the last game and they lost, and he was just like, we just need to execute the game plan. Right. That was it. He's like, we just need to execute the game plan, follow through, and we'll be fine.
Everyone gets on them for such the basic quotes because like everyone's like, oh, he answers everything the right way all the time. It's like it's so funny, but like he was telling the truth though.
Well, also like, what the fuck? Like, you'd rather him be like, yeah, fucking, if Josh could fucking hit a shot, that'd be great.
Actually, yes, I would rather that.
That's literally what the
Pretty funny.
timeline wants him to do.
Yeah. Well, if fucking Cat could stop picking up stupid fouls, that'd be nice.
Stop crying after every drive.
Could OG remember how to make a three?
Yeah. What do you guys need to do better? Well, if anybody else in the fucking team can make a shot.
I actually want
I'm
Brunson
always
to
doing
walk out.
everything, especially in the fourth quarter.
I
Damn.
want Brunson to walk out to the podium with the burn book and just be like, just go through, kill all his teammates after every loss, you know? Just be like, I'm the best.
Yeah, he should do the LeBron thing and like come out with like the Malcolm X. What's your favorite part? Just all of it. Like all of it.
It
all of it's
speaks to me.
Yeah, all of it's really good. Oh, okay. Good, LeBron.
Oh,
Is LeBron
man.
playing in the playoffs still? No, he's not.
Oh,
No, he isn't.
Retro. Brown was grabbing nuts too much to lose like that.
Oh my god.
Tay 2-2. I'm glad we can have a good time. Shout out the players, Tibbs and Leon. Yeah, everybody deserves credit. It's a great day for the organization, I think. And you know what? You know who the biggest winner is today? It's James Dolan. James Dolan.
Mr. Dolan.
James
Mr.
Dolan
Dolan
is now guaranteed to get more playoff revenue than he did last year.
And you
Let's
know what? He deserves it. Good job,
Nobody
Mr.
deserves
Dolan.
it more than James Dolan.
Here's the thing. He's right about the revenue sharing. Mr. Dolan deserves that money. He earned it. And he has to give it to the poor teams? No. The rich people, like Mr. Dolan, should have all the money.
In fact, I'm just going to give all of my money to James
I
Dolan.
donate my entire
Just 'cause I
salary to
trust
Mr.
him.
Dolan every 2 weeks. I get my paycheck
Just
and I'm just
'cause
like, here, Mr. Dolan.
Please, I trust you so much with money.
Here's my money.
Ricky Ricardo.
They did
Going-
briefly show him during the game today,
Yeah.
sitting there
He
with
always
his
looks
fedora. He looked beautiful.
Yeah, he looked great. He's been rocking the fedora basically all the time lately.
Honestly, you can't blame him. You know, he just works it so well.
Ricky Ricardo going from Pritchard, TJ McConnell. Jesus Christ.
Honestly, Pritchard didn't bother me in this series because he just kind of wasn't that good, other than Game 5.
Yeah,
he
no,
was
TJ McConnell's definitely going to be much.
He's going to be way more annoying. Yeah, TJ McConnell's going to be way more
because
annoying.
he's like that's like also just like part of his like fundamental, like who he is as a player is that he's an annoying player.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
this whole thing, and he's also been a Nick killer his entire fucking career. This guy hit a game winner against us in 2016.
He's in the Sixers.
After Porzingis airballed a corner three, by the way, an open corner three. Yep. Anash Baraka says, Celtics fans got to preview a first option Jalen Brown next year. They'll be trying to win some ping pong balls.
Yeah, because Brown's going to foul
not
every time. Brown's going to foul himself out in the third quarter every game. He's just going to be like, I don't want to play anymore.
The funniest thing I saw was after, was it before the last game when like the TNT guys were like, is Brown better than Brunson? And then there was conversation after the last game. There was conversation after the last game about like how
you knew that the game was not going to go the Celtics way after they said that shit.
Yeah. Well, and then after the game, like there was all this conversation like, oh wow, Jalen like really, really locked up Brunson last game. Like, that could be it. And obviously it didn't play out that way. The last thing I want to say is this. I mean, not the last thing I want to say, but I want to say this.
No,
I thought about this but I do think it's worth mentioning. However you rank players, go through your top 10, wherever you rank them. All I know is this: Luka Doncic is universally regarded as like a top 3 player in the league. That man was absolutely fucking atrocious against the Celtics last year. Terrible, garbage, not good at all. And he was a total liability defensively. I mean, they destroyed him. That was like their biggest success in that series was constantly attacking Luka Doncic. They tried to do that to Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson held up way better than Luka, and he did not struggle to get the ball across half court the way that fucking Luka did half the time in that series. I don't know what's going on with Luka. I have no idea what his health situation is. I have no idea what his weight is right now. I don't know many things, but I do know that based on the most recent viewings I've seen of these players over the course of the season and in the playoffs and against a similar opponent, I think it's time to stop grandfathering Luka Doncic into the top 3 is all I'll say.
There's a top 1, and it's Jalen Brunson.
There's a top 1, and it's Mitchell Robinson.
That's right. It's Mitch. And his top 1 is President Donald Trump.
And maybe Aiden Ross.
Probably. Yeah, oh my God. He is like.
Isn't Saquon doing a stream with Aiden Ross or something?
Oh,
yes.
Saquon, it's honestly so funny because he like really just tanked his public persona so quickly.
They won the Super Bowl and he was just like, I guess I can do whatever. I can just reveal my true.
I can reveal that I'm a piece of shit.
I can reveal exactly what I am.
So I could probably just play golf with Trump and then tell everybody that like it's fine actually and you should shut the fuck up.
I'm just playing golf with the president. Why is that a big deal? I don't know, dude. Why do you think it's a big deal? What do you think? Retro. Can we talk about how well we played the Nuggets last year? If they win, we got a real chance. It would be great if they won. Aaron Gordon is apparently questionable for Game 7, right? Get a hamstring.
Yes.
Thing? Yeah, I think doubtful.
Yeah,
is it doubtful?
Yeah, doubtful. Yeah.
If he's doubtful, even if they win Game 7, I think they would get destroyed by.
No, we're probably on a collision course for Knicks Wolves, which is so funny.
Dog.
It would be funny.
There's like legitimately never been a situation where two teams made a trade and they meet in the finals. Right?
This important of a trade.
Yes, like this significant of a trade and they meet in the finals. There can't be. Yeah.
The only thing I will say though, I think this, assuming OKC wins in Game 7, I think this OKC Wolves series is going to be fucking disgusting hoops.
It's
Like
gonna be
absolutely
awful.
disgusting hoops.
It's gonna be awful.
Yeah, like I know that Minnesota's played really well. Randall's obviously playing great. So is Ant. I think they've had great matchups. OKC's defense is like, I think it's their worst matchup. It's like the team that they're worst set up for. But I also feel the same way. Like I think Minnesota's
It's like
defense is like,
OKC, you can't trust anyone outside of Shea, literally.
yeah, and yeah, that's it. So should be a fun.
That guy's name is not J-Dub, by the way. It's Jalen Williams. He has not earned that because he absolutely sucks at basketball. And he uses Instagram like he's 12 years old still.
Doesn't he have like a burner on Instagram? Or
Yes.
Can I just say, if we end up with Knicks Wolves, Julius Randle is 1,000% going to play like garbage at MSG in every game because he's going to try to do way too much.
It would. I would so much rather not have that be a series because I just don't want to.
Oh no, I don't want to play the Wolves.
That is going to be the narrative.
I don't want to play the Wolves.
It'll just be annoying to like constantly have to debate like after each game. It's like, does game one's Knicks victory prove that they won the trade? Oh, game two, the Wolves bounced back. Does this prove that they trashed the Knicks in this trade? I think if both teams are in the finals, they're probably both like, yeah, that's
pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty well off actually. Yeah.
Actually, this worked out beautifully.
I have something very important I have to share. This is breaking news that I found from 2 hours ago.
2 hours ago, breaking news.
Yeah, so this is we got important stuff here. We have a new Riz face unlocked, people.
Wow.
All right, we got a new Riz face. Here we go.
What do you guys got? A new Riz face?
Let's see what it is.
So
That's the same Riz face.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay, I like it. All right, Roro.
It really didn't change.
I can't believe the Rizzler is real, dude.
I can't believe Schwinn just said that out loud. Oh my gosh!
I had not watched that video. I can't believe it's literally the same thing he does every time.
It's just the same thing.
It's the same.
Chris Bernard says, if we do the thing, Schwinn's got to be on here drinking like a sailor. I'll be doing something, man. Don't worry about it. I mean, I'll tell you this. If the Knicks win the championship, I promise you, I will not be on the post-game stream.
I was going to say, honestly,
me neither.
No,
you'll find me live from my phone on the post-game stream.
If the Knicks win the championship, unfortunately, there will be no rundown because no one's going to want to do it.
Everyone will be in the city, literally.
I will be on fucking many drugs. No one can say.
So sorry,
all of
guys,
them good.
To, watch redacted instead because they're going to be doing it.
Retro, Brunson's legacy is skyrocketing. The modern day Knicks are directly linked to Brunson. Yes.
Literally.
There's no question. There's no question. Brunson stood up on D all series.
He did.
Correct. Jake Andrews, this is a good one. Rank the Knicks draft bust redemption stories. Michael Beasley, Derek Williams, Mario Hezonja, Emmanuel Mudiay.
All right, Mudiay's last. Fuck that guy.
It's Michael Beasley, Hezonja, Williams, Mudiay.
Williams is definitely third because I forgot he was on the Knicks until
I think Williams is second because when we were still active on PNT, we had a great nickname for him, and his nickname was Hate Boner. Why it was Hate Boner, I don't remember.
Whoa.
That was the nickname.
Such a crazy nickname.
Yep. It was a crazy nickname. It's great. It's fantastic. PNT. Shout out to all the PNT people. Brunson greater than Luka. Retro. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Look at this.
I don't want to see this guy. What are you doing here? Come on, Jordan Bub.
Man, I want to give him a swirly. That's the only thing I want to see.
This guy is like 47 years old, and he's like crying on Twitter about the Celtics losing in the playoffs.
Wait, the funniest thing that he's been doing on Twitter is just like crying every day when he looks at his 401k or something. How could you do this to me? I'm like, wow. Can't believe that you didn't just believe him when he told you.
Yeah, what does it rise?
Yeah, tariffs are bad. Wow. Jordan Bub. Chernobyl was asked about his appreciation for what Mitchell Robinson can do at his size. It's amazing. Mitch is 1-of-1. I don't think anyone else his size in the league can do what he does.
And we have been saying this about Mitch since like his rookie year. Like we saw all these glimpses of him being able to stay on the perimeter with guys, blocking 3-pointers and stuff. And we were just like waiting. We were like, you know what? If we ever get the right situation, he's still here. He's going to be a great piece. And we're seeing it all actualized. And like, it's like so rewarding, not only as us as fans, but I can imagine for him as a player, for everything that he's been through, all these injuries, all these iterations of the team that he's been with, and to like finally be in the Eastern Conference Finals with a chance to go to the finals with the Knicks, the team that drafted him. Crazy stuff, man.
Let's be real. We've been through more than Mitch, obviously.
Yeah, come on, whatever.
As fans of the team,
honestly, like Mitch doesn't deserve anything compared to us.
We're the lifeblood of the organization.
Like, we like. There's a lot of credit that should go to Tibbs for that because he totally unlocked Mitch as a player, and like, look, he has his annoying tendencies. We didn't talk about the fact that he waited like 6 minutes too long to take the good players out of the game, but we were all so like celebratory and he had to fucking piss us off for 3 minutes because he like left OG. Dude, I swear to God, if OG had gotten injured, I would have been on here screaming.
Yeah, I mean, it would have sucked, but I also like, I don't know. I'm also insane about this stuff. Like, I was kind of like, just play them until 6 minutes. At 6 minutes, then you start thinking.
Yeah, but he took. Like even then, he had like Rick Brunson went up to him and was like, "Tom, please take them out."
And then Tom looked at Tom was like,
"Yeah." And then Jalen Brunson had to go through him.
Back on the bench, you bald asshole. You don't have a fucking job because of me, pal.
Dog.
Your son is fine. Okay. He makes Rick Brunson like, I want you to say it. I abandoned my boy. This is from Carl Anthony Towns. When you're in these situations, especially in the playoffs, you talk about that New York grit, the unrelenting belief that we will never lose. We showed it this series. Towns is so corny. It's hilarious, bro.
Yeah, but also like you did lose twice.
Brandon Williams. I'll be doing ketamine. Okay. Well, that's the bar, guys.
Yeah.
That's
go
bar.
above it.
Yeah, come on, black tar heroin. Who's going to do black tar heroin?
You know someone will.
It's not going to be me, but
you know someone's doing it right now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
outside on 7th Ave right now.
Jordan Bub posted this. Josh Hart facing the Pacers in the playoffs for a second year in a row. It's going to be a tough opponent. We can build off this game. I feel like our defensive transition, our communication was great today.
Yeah,
just be consistent
talk
with
to each
it.
Other.
They're not consistent with it. That's their problem.
Desmond O, thank you for the super chat. Macau mid-range Bridges, I love you. Yeah, I love you too. He was great today.
He was. I mean, I've said it like every time that he's done well in a playoff game, but like I don't care they overpaid. Like this is what you wanted. Like
give the Nets another one.
Yeah, yes. I did say that last time, but I don't care they overpaid. Like, yes, they obviously overpaid, but who gives a shit? Like, if they win the championship this year, I don't want to hear it. Like, seriously, like, same thing with Cat, right? Like,
dog, if they win the championship, none of this ever matters. Like ever.
Flags fly forever. If those banners from 70 and 73 are still up there in the rafters, you know, like I don't like
no matter what it took to get them.
Those are freaking 14-year-olds. Like I don't care.
And all those we have all those banners up there that Tommy Beer has created. Like they're all all the banners are up there. No, like it doesn't. You make that trade because you're trying to win a championship. That's it. Like that's why it kind of like cut through and clarified. You know, because for years we have to hear like, oh, when are they going to make a big move? Or when are they going to? You can't just sit around. I'm like, they're not sitting around. Like they're good, but like you kind of understand that viewpoint. But like once they make that trade, you're kind of signaling, right? Like, yeah, no, we believe this team can win a championship, and that is our goal. We are not going to sit here and view like, oh, well, we got to the second round again. That's a victory. Like they made it very clear what their intentions and goals were as an organization with that trade, and.
And look,
yeah, and I will say, like, I think Mikal Bridges in this Pacers series, I think he can be a really big difference maker in this series. You know, the obsession and the focus, and I understand why, was you made these trades to to match up with Boston. And that's fine. That's fair. I understand why people thought that. And it's true to an extent. But another reason you got this, and you can like literally go back to like pods I did back then and post games we did back then. I just never really believed that like as great as Dante was as an offensive fit, and I do think they still need to find a like high volume movement kind of psycho level 3-point shooter. I just don't know that you can have a starting backcourt with Brunson and Dante DiVincenzo and win a championship. And I thought their defensive issues were really problematic in the playoffs last year, and especially so against the Pacers. This is a series, to me, another opponent why you go and get a player like Mikal Bridges, so that it's not just OG as like a guy you trust to lock somebody down. I think this is a big series for him. I think I would even go as far as to say this. I think he can have an even greater impact on this series, this Pacers series upcoming, than he had in this Celtics series.
Dog, if he can clamp up Halla belly button, man.
Because the thing is, like,
yo,
the one type of player OG has trouble with are smaller, faster guys, right? So this is what you got Bridges for, because he's got to guard Halliburton. You got to put OG on Siakam. He's got to guard Halliburton. So, like, he's got to do it. You know,
Hallie has no handles.
Right. I mean, Mikal can definitely do it, and but he has to. This is what you got. This just as much as him guarding Derek White in this series, or Brown, whoever he was guarding. I think Hart was on Brown, so it must have been Derek White.
They all ended up switching and like crossing.
Yeah, they were switching constantly. But you got him for guarding Halliburton just as much, because again, like OG is amazing, but like that's not what he's good at. And if you can put OG on Siakam, right, and then Cat can, like, I don't know, I guess he's guarding Miles Turner, which is not ideal, but whatever. He's got to go with somebody. Yeah. Also, you can kind of let Hart, like, I mean, who's Hart going to, like, you don't need to worry about Hart guarding somebody, like, close, anyone else in that starting lineup, right? So, like
Neesmith or Nemhard.
Yeah, I don't care about fucking Neesmith or Nemhard.
I mean, I do, because they're apparently.
I do, because they're the hottest shooters in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, but
Josh Hart can't do the stupid thing like he did today in the game earlier that kind of pissed me off, was when he lost Al Horford on the baseline jumper. You can't lose Neesmith and Nemhard.
Well, okay. Also, the thing they did all series that made me so angry, and they did do it again tonight, but Derek White didn't make them pay, is you can't leave these fucking trailers open for three.
Oh my God, yeah. And luckily they didn't burn us today. So
yeah.
I mean, it also helped that, like, a lot of times when they were open, it was already like, oh, they're up 18.
Right. Yeah, it didn't matter. Yeah.
Derek White's head is so shiny. I'm watching the post game right now. Really his head is so shiny. Yo, that shit is crazy.
I'll tell you one thing. Bring that fucking shiny bald ass head of his to the Garden. I'll be a happy camper.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of is like exactly what they need.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to trade him. He's like the one guy I know they're not going to trade.
No, yeah, of course not.
And
but
Tatum,
like, that would be like the perfect, because then you, like, Tiz would definitely put Hart on the bench for Derek White, and so, like, then, you know, you're golden.
Yeah, I mean, that might be, Hart might feel betrayed. Be like, I thought I was the one.
I don't understand. Even though I tell Tibbs all the time I play too many minutes, he can't actually bench me.
Ashmaster asks, just off the top of your head, what are things the Knicks can take advantage of the Pacers? Take advantage against the Pacers of the most? I would say that I don't know if you can take advantage of it necessarily, but the one thing I would say is you have to understand what they actually want. And like what they actually want is to get to the paint. That's what they want. They want to get to the paint. Their entire system is based on like clearing out the paint with motion and spacing and to get easier shots at the rim. They're not a super high volume 3-point shooting team. So understand what they are. I thought one of the biggest problems the Knicks had last year when we played them, which is wildly closing out, jumping at every pump fake. And it was just this endless stream of drive and kick. So I don't know if that really is something they can take advantage of, but that's more something that I think that they can certainly be cognizant of and execute. And then obviously the rebounding thing, they are actually pretty okay rebounding team, but The Knicks need to exert that as an advantage. That
Well,
would be the two things.
I mean, this goes back like Mitch has got to play McGinnis in the series, right? Because you need his rebounding out there. And I don't know. I mean, look, I trust after this series that Tibbs is going to have the right defensive game plan. There's really no reason not to at this point. He had the exact right defensive game plan he needed to for the Celtics. But like you said, Schwinn, they didn't always execute it, and like they have to. You really can't not execute against the Pacers because they'll just freaking blitz you if you play like idiots.
One thing for me that comes up for this matchup is Jalen Brunson's familiarity with their defenders, quote unquote. They're going to be throwing Nembhard, Nesmith, and probably Ben Shepherd at him all once again, who Jalen Brunson is very fond of, all of them. Gave them a couple 40 pieces in that series last year. So, I mean, Jalen Brunson just had to finish dealing with all of the Celtics defenders. Asar Thompson.
Yeah,
he has seen his fair share of defenders. This will be pretty light work for him.
He's dealt with, I want to say, 5 betters who are defender than anyone the Pacers have already. Like the 3 guys on the Celtics, right? And then Thompson and Schroeder. So, Schroeder gave him the most frickin' trouble of any of them.
Yeah.
And
so
the Pacers don't have anyone on that level.
I mean, the Pacers, their alleged defenders are Nesmith, who gets overzealous a ton.
Right.
And Brunson loves to take advantage of players that are overzealous like that. Like, that plays to Brunson's favor. Like, he loves when defenders are doing that because he knows exactly how to bait them into more fouls. Nembhard tries his darndest. We know he tried his hardest last year. And, Brunson just kept frying him.
I really hope they start Nembhard on him again like they did last year. And
I can't wait till they put Ben Shepherd on him, that poor kid.
But guys, they didn't have who is that loser who was injured last year?
Oh, Mathurin?
Yeah, they didn't have Mathurin last year.
The Rage Baiter.
Anyway.
The Rage Baiter.
Right.
Schwinn, you're muted.
You're muted.
One of the big keys to this series in general, they fucking Nembhard, Mathurin, and Nesmith are like, their goal is to try and get under your skin. That is like what they do all game, every game.
Especially Mathurin. Like, you saw how it worked against DeAndre Hunter. It got him kicked out of a game, but
which also, like, I can't believe they actually kicked him out for that. They're like, he threw a punch. I was like, he extended.
That is the weakest punch ever.
Yeah. He extended his arm into his chest. Like, that doesn't seem like an injection. Anyway, I think that's like a really big key. Like, I thought
Knicks did a pretty good job in the Pistons series of not getting baited by them.
And even then, right, within that series, like we saw in game 2, they get into an issue with that. Game 5, they got into an issue with that. Like, even in game 5 against the Celtics, I thought one of the big issues they had, yes, I know the whistle was terrible in the third quarter, but they let that get under their skin so bad and they just completely lost control. Can't have games like that. You can't afford to just lose your kind of like your emotional balance in these critical games and series and moments. So that is kind of one thing I would say is a key. Trying to get to these last ones that we have here. Brandon Williams, finally no Derek White Magna Ball.
Ooh, it was so good to see him brick all those open threes. Oh man, we needed that so bad.
And Eschmester says the Pacers will definitely try to get in Cat's head as much as possible. Yeah, I think they will. This is actually pretty funny. Brandon Williams, Knicks fans surrounded the Celtics team bus.
That's so amazing.
Bringing the European soccer.
The nana hey goodbye was so good. That was
amazing.
Yeah,
loved it. Also, gotta love like the crowd just like reveling in Jalen Brown fouling out.
Oh, that was great. Especially because Brunson fouled out in game 5. You know, it was like
it was perfect revenge
for Brown to foul out even sooner than Brunson did. Was so good.
Yes. All right, I think we got to everything pretty much here. So thank you to everybody that joined us in the chat. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the super chats. I'll be recording a pod at some point this weekend, so we will talk about this series in retrospect and preview the conference finals. So be on the lookout
Let's
for that.
real quick. You'll hear from Schwinn, but you won't hear from me and Sam before the series. So Sam, do it. What's your pick?
What's my pick for the
Yeah.
series? Knicks in 6. It just sounds right.
Knicks in
It
6.
just sounds
Yeah.
right.
It works. That's Schwinn will have to. You won't hear from Schwinn until he'll pod about it, but
Yeah, I don't have
it'll be a secret for now.
I have to think through it. I'll
All
be
right.
picking the Knicks. I'll be picking the Knicks to win, even if I ultimately conclude in my deepest heart of hearts that they probably won't win or something. Like I'll still be like,
I mean, it's not like the Celtics series where you felt like you had no choice but to pick the Celtics, But like, you can't pick the as an extent.
I'm not picking the fucking Pacers.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
Pacers in 5 actually. Because, they've just really outplayed the Cavs in a way the Knicks did not outplay the Celtics.
Shout out Prez. Shout out Prez. Infamous Pistons pick. All right. Do you guys want to plug anything before you get out of here?
Real quick, shout out Timmy Chalamet.
Shout out
Timmy.
Real
Love
Hooper.
He's been putting on for the new age celebrity Knicks fans on the sideline.
Yeah. I just want to plug. Just give me a follow on Twitter at London's Theory. You'll see me tweeting a lot about how Deuce McBride is the worst player of all time, and that we should extend campaign.
It's so poetic that campaign shit himself, and like Deuce McBride ended up being the one of the ultimate swing factors off the bench in this series.
Yeah.
After Tyrese's tweets this
so
year.
If you want to give me a follow there on London's Theory and just give me some feedback on my Deuce McBride takes. But all right. That is our show. Thank you again to everybody in the chat. Thank you for the super chats. And we will be back on Wednesday night, I guess, for the
Thank God.
I don't know if I'll be here because I might actually go out and watch the game.
So many days off. What a miracle.
See you, Sam. Fucking popular guy over here. Getting drunk on a Wednesday night and then teaching kids on Thursday morning.
All right.
All right. Again, thanks to everybody in the chat. And we'll catch you then. Peace.
Peace.